Welcome back. And we have some more exciting episode to come. We have Brad Pinzur back with us from Kajabra, furthering the first segment's conversation about AI technology and the development and what it can do for you with implementation. And we just started crossing our conversation over into content creation and the effectiveness of that and where it has come from and where it is going, both in affordability and capability. And so, Brad, I kind of want to push back along those lines and start talking about. We've had branding experts on the show. In fact, your partner Janelle has been on here to help us with marketing and branding. And we know you've got a little bit of that tech savvy side as well. But in that arena, if I really want to go into trusting AI and adopting AI to help content creation, marketing, and pushing my brand, what are some of the things I really need to focus on? And what are some of the hazards I may want to pay attention to?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that, traditionally, it's been more like the SEO and the PPC, and we've always had the social media thing. And I've always been more, social media, it's kind of like a lot of work and I don't see as much of a benefit from it, right? But that's always been the case. And I've been doing this since the mid 90s. And so, but now what I'm seeing with the changes in, um, with Google and the search results and the answers being right there, I'm seeing like less effectiveness with kind of the traditional SEO and PPC. And I think that, the social media is becoming more and more important. And I think particularly, um, as we have this AI and it's like artificial and all this kind of stuff, that human element is really, really important. And I think establishing yourself as a thought leader and really focusing on that and um, pushing that out there into the world on social media in a very authentic way is really the way to move forward with content, and AI can certainly facilitate all that stuff when you teach it your brand and your voice and focus on that part of that.
I really like what you said, how to a lot of people, it may sound like an oxymoron, but really it makes so much sense considering the world we're in. You said you're going to take something artificial and teach it to promote your authentic self. And I think that might spin in somebody's head real quick. But if we realize how to leverage the tools in front of us, this is a non existing entity that doesn't have a real brain, so to speak. So it's artificial, but you can teach it to think and sound like you. And I can remember playing with ChatGPT when it first came out, and I was trying to write a speech and write a Bible lesson and things like that. And it came back and it didn't sound like me. And so, based on my own life experience, I said, well, mix the genre of this speech to sound like these three speakers and authors. And kind of the combination of those three blends really sounded like me. And I know what we can do is we can also put a lot more stuff into ChatGPT or various AI technologies that says, blend this, consider that, reference these materials, and then start to promote our authentic self, like you said. So I really just wanted to emphasize that that kind of struck a chord with me the way you said that. And
Yeah,
I think it's just a very clever way of thinking.
yeah, and I think this the AI is really helpful. Like I always like to say that, you really need to always go back to the fundamentals, because like I like to use golf as a comparison, like if I'm playing golf and I'm struggling, I'll just go back to the fundamentals, like my stance and my grip and those kinds of things. And I think it's important uh, to do that, especially with AI, because it's so powerful. And if you can use it to help you figure out the essence of what you're doing and what you're providing to create that story. um and once you kind of establish what those are, then you can use the AI. The AI is just this tool that's going to help you you know communicate better and learn about things in ways that you might not have thought about before as well. So I think that is critical, and understanding you know that it's important to, always go to the fundamentals.
I really like that a lot. And you said, thinking of things you haven't thought of before. And that kind of gets me to think about the future a little bit. I think about the future, but I can't predict the future. And so with AI coming more predominantly on scene and taking over more and more roles and more activity inside of certain industries and definitely across the board at this point, what are some ways we can use AI or use ourselves to help future proof our strategies? If I implement AI in a certain capacity or with a certain set of boundaries and workflow, how can I future proof myself to make sure AI doesn't get too far out of bounds? I don't replace the workers that I know and love and actually need. It can be a pretty rapid evolution as we've seen, but business leaders need to ensure that we're staying ahead of these industry trends. Can I use AI to help me keep ahead of AI and industry trends and keep my people working proactively in my company?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly going to be tremendous change, and none of us can predict what's going to happen here. But I mean, I like to use AI to, you can ask the AI, like, give it like context and scenarios, and what are some ways that this might play out, and it gives you ideas, and then you can dig further into that. Um, I think as far as, you know, having employees that you love and the AI changing, like the roles are going to change. There's no doubt about it. I mean, but the fundamentals won't change. That's why it's important to really understand the fundamentals of your business, and then how AI can help you, do that better, more efficiently. And then it might mean that, your small company of 10 only really needs, 6 of you or something, and then that's just business. I mean, that's the way it is. um but knowing that and understanding that, could prepare you on how to, manage that culturally, and on a human level. I think that it'll be some time before, it's always like, we're 10 years ahead of ourselves, always, it seems like, with this stuff, but it is going to happen. And it's really just a matter of recognizing that, and, just preparing yourself for that, and kind of getting a sense for what could happen, and how, you know, like I said, business is business, like if you're not going to keep somebody around if it's just costing you money,
Right.
so, but I don't think it's like doom and gloom. I think there's a lot of, um, I think there's way more positive stuff that's going to come from it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you that the positives are certainly going to outweigh the negatives, and I believe in very rare circumstances will AI just replace the human worker.
It's
But
not.
yeah, I just don't. Again, hey, maybe 20, 30 years from now, I don't know. But the uh, the thing for me is that if I change the work role, like you just said, and I say, hey, employee, I'm not looking to replace you, but I'm looking to change your role. You still have this basic fundamental level of understanding that I need from you. Let AI do all the grunt work. You maximize your output of this basic function that is the human component. And you learn to think differently, speak differently, and interact differently with what is now technology and software. So instead of just having a regular old data entry program, we now have something that's helping work with and for you, and your role is going to change. Do you see that as a possible way to get people to start trusting and adopting AI technology on the employer side, the people that are receiving the directives that we're going to start using this type of technology?
I think there's definitely going to be, a lot of fear, within an organization where, people employees are going to feel like they're going to lose their job or something like that. So it's very delicate. Um, and I think that, I think just being aware of that kind of dynamic is, half the battle. And, you know, I think it's definitely something that's going to be playing out across the board, like these conversations, and there's going to be people that their value to the business is gonna, you know, go towards, certainly diminish, whether it goes to zero or not, like that's going to happen, and those people are going to have to, you know, find another way to, to contribute. And it's definitely, depends on your particular situation, in your business about, and your relationship with them. Um, but I think the idea is really to find, um, whatever it is that a person does, and what their role is, how can AI allow them to perform it more efficiently? And I think that a lot of businesses owners, especially if it's somebody that, you value as a person and all that kind of stuff, like you'll find other roles and other things for them
Yeah.
to do, because the AI will create new opportunities within the business. And so it's just a matter of, you know, having that conversation with that person. Hey, I want you to learn this. I want you to maybe even teach me what you're learning so we can talk about it and figure out how, their role can evolve and change. So you'll have a lot of that as well,
Let me jump in real quick, Brad, because
Yeah.
you said something just a second ago.
Mhm.
Um, so you're talking about the overall fit and the overall change. So here's a real big question I have for you. Kind of last question tonight as we roll into the commercial break for you. But Kajabra's role, where is Kajabra's role in we bring a certain fit and a certain component to the AI world, into this expansion world on tonight's conversation? And will you answer that question in, if we like the role that Kajabra provides, how the heck do we get a hold of you so we can get that role into our company and our business?
Yeah, so really what there's two things here. One is, how do you save time? How do you create these efficiencies, right? How do you leverage the AI in the entire, business, right? So Kajabra, our software is an all-in-one suite. It has, all the features that you could need. It's really a sales and marketing engine. Uh, heavily on content production, automation, all the things that we really talked about on, today. And it's it, it's it's something that really is can be customized for your particular business. Even if we're working just with an accounting firm, each each company has its own way of doing business and all that kind of stuff, and every piece of it can be customized, can be integrated with other software. It's really kind of, um, a fluid platform. It's not like locked into, this is how we do it and you're either in or you're out kind of thing. It's more like, something that's evolving. And because the AI is evolving so quickly, um, the new features and new capabilities are being added. So where we are today with the AI and where it could be even just next month, it could be like,
Be miles apart.
miles apart. And so we're super excited about, what we're working on and what we're able to, help our clients and their clients in turn, and the impact that we can have.
So get really quick, we got about 10 seconds left. How do people find you?
Yeah, so Kajabra.com, Kajabra.com. And I'm Brad at Kajabra.com. You can email me with questions, and you can book a call with us. Me and Janelle, my co-founder, will love to sit down and have a strategy session with you.
It's awesome. Brad, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. We're going to cut to a commercial break, and we're going to be back with a new guest, and we're going to keep this conversation rolling. Sit tight for more Pivotal Change.